You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk, or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
Alright, this is Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? Yes, I miss you when we're not talking. Thankfully, a weekend at least of resting my voice. Yes, I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days to rest my voice has mostly allowed me to recover. Now, that doesn't mean Mr. Frog has completely gone out of style. So, there may still be a frog in the works. Now, boy, oh boy, North Korea, Iran, South China Sea are all at the top of my list. In fact, I almost tried to get on the air this weekend. I almost did. I was almost pushed to the microphone this weekend. But I decided against it, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But before I get to all that news, oh my gosh, I must be doing something right. Oh yeah, I must be doing something right. And we're going to play just a little bit of music before I tell you why I say it. And the person who sent me the email I'm about to reference, take the words of this song to heart.
The gates of hell won't back down. I will stand my ground, won't be turned around.
Yes, I played part of I Won't Back Down. Why did I play a song like that? Because that's not the usual stuff I play. You all have heard my regular bumper a couple times. Well, evidently my presence on Twitter was noted this weekend. Oh, yes. It was seriously noticed. And somebody went to the trouble of tracking down. I do have a Jessie's POV website, but I don't mention it often because I don't have much time to do anything with it. I'd rather you go to KLRNRadio.com. In fact, I am on my way over to the chat room right now. Yes, I am on my way over to the chat room, and that would be KLRNRadio.com/chat. And yes, you are welcome to join me in there. Now, this past weekend, I received 6 emails from one individual. They had something to say about my opinion of football players taking a knee in the pregame on Twitter. I have no problem with someone speaking their mind. I will defend whether I agree with your opinion or not. I will defend to my death your right to state your opinion. I, however, do draw the line when you write things such as, I will find you, I will assault you, I will end your life. And I am putting the words in very polite terms because I do try and keep my show relatively clean. Oh yes, I got my first death threat from being on air.
Hours in space, but even
I must be doing something right. I don't know what else to say about it. I must be doing something right. But I'd like to remind all of you who are listening, and hopefully the idiot, and yes, I'm going to call this person an idiot, and I respect your opinion. You want to reach out to me? You want to come on air and debate this point? I will happily take you up on that. You want to send me profanity-laced emails and death threats? I'll just turn those over to the authorities, which I did. And remember, I'm a Special Forces widow. You think I still don't have a few friends in that community who will see to it no harm comes to me? And by the way, I am a Second Amendment girl. Oh yeah. Which means I also have a concealed carry permit. If I am out and about, outside of certain regions and certain places, you can darn well bet I'm armed. And, well, let's just explain it this way. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. A lawyer can help me with the judged by 12. No one can do anything about carried by 6. And I visit the range once a month. I stay proficient with my firearm usage. And I do that for a number of reasons. Not the least of which is, if I ever have to fire that weapon in self-defense, I don't want to hit the wrong target. I also, quite frankly, find going to the range rather refreshing and relaxing, believe it or not. I write what's bothering me on a target, tack it up down at the end of the range, and blow it apart. And I find it very refreshing to do that. Now, I've informed the manager here at the station, but I went the next step. I forwarded the email to the authorities, my local authorities, just to put something on record with them. And then I took it one step further. I picked up the phone. I reached out to some of my first husband's Spec Ops buddies. You want to have a bad day? We can make that arrangement. I am going to tell you, sending me death threats is not a smart idea. Sending me death threats tells me only one thing. One, you probably don't know where I am, what my real name is, and yes, for those of you who are longtime listeners who never checked out my bio, Jessie is in essence a stage name or an on-air name. Why? My first husband was Special Forces. My information was put out by Daesh not once, but twice. They actually concern me. I won't say scare me because I don't think they really could track me down, even though they have had an address and phone number and various other bits and pieces, parts of which were outdated, which I'm not going to share what was outdated and what wasn't. It's none of your business. But they do concern me because, well, they're a little bit crazy. They'll kill themselves to get to you. But your average person won't. So, yeah, you really want to threaten me over my opinion of NFL players taking a knee. I normally don't get into U.S. domestic issues. But I'm going to say my opinion on this very briefly. Then we are going to pull up some show prep and get on with the rest of the show. The men and women of the United States Armed Forces protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. And as much as it pains me to say this, and I have had several long conversations with more than one member of the Armed Forces, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, is part of the Constitution. As much as my men and women who I've spoken with about this issue have said they'd like to see the people that took that knee go spend a day, I'll make it a week, doing their job. Oh yeah, I went there. They'd like to see them actually put their life on the line. I'm sorry, most of these pampered millionaires don't know what it's like. There are a few exceptions. I know of a few NFL players who are veterans. Most of them do not know what it's like to be in a country where everyone is shooting at you. Not just booing you when you run on the field, but firing bullets at you just because of who you are. And I don't mean the color of your skin. We're talking the color of the uniform you wear. Much like our police officers seem to face in this day and age in the streets of our very own country. Quite frankly, I disagree with taking a knee. This doesn't allow you to say why you're taking a knee. Tim Tebow took a knee frequently, but he was praying. And many, many people applauded him, and many, many people said it was inappropriate. We now had over 200 football players take a knee this past weekend. Same song, second verse. Although I heard on a national news network as I was doing some errands right before showtime. Probably pushed it a little bit too late, but I got back and got on air, so all's well that ends well. That taking a knee may be a visible sign of protest. You want to actually make a difference? Talk to your local Boys and Girls Club. Talk to your local outreach programs. Get involved with them. Call a press conference. They'll show up. You're an NFL player, for Pete's sake. They'll show up. All right. I have wasted far more time, and I'm not going to say wasted, but I have spent the first 20 minutes of this show discussing the topic that got me a death threat from Twitter. And this was actually a written out email. This was not just a tweet or a DM. This was a 3/4 of a printed page email diatribe, including profanity and various forms of assault and ending in my death. Hey, Mr. Email Sender, I hope you're listening. Bad move, dude. And yes, it was a guy. He signed his name. Well, a name. All right. Just to remind all of you.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell. Won't back down.
No, I won't back down. In fact, my reaction to your threat? Aw, how cute. I must be doing something right. All right. Let's get on with what I really cover. And it's not this ID10T error. And no, that's not my show prep. That's some other papers I was working on. Boy, that's not my show prep. And I can guarantee you this is probably going to be part show prep for the week. If it sounds thick, it is. I don't know if you can hear it, but trust me, this is a very thick stack. Now, you know me, often I'm working on one big story that I kind of dig into. And I've got all kinds of things here. But I want to start out by talking about an article by Jackson Richman that I read. Yes. And I don't often name the articles that I read. A lot of times I'll just say this is what I learned. But Jackson Richman, thank you. And this was on I believe the Daily Signal. I didn't print the URL, but I think it was the Daily Signal. November 1938, the Nazis confiscated a silk factory owned by the same Jewish family for over a decade, arresting the owner. Fast forward to 2014, a state official compared a Colorado Christian baker to the same group who took away what belonged to the Jewish silk factory owner. And this silk factory owner happened to be the father of my grandmother's cousin. All right, now that's a distant relative, but it's still a personal tie to the Holocaust. The Colorado Civil Rights Commissioner Diane Rice said, "Freedom of religion and religion has been used to justify all kinds of discrimination throughout history, whether it be slavery, whether it be the Holocaust." All right, Stop right there. And I'm going to quote the article, especially as the grandson of Holocaust survivors, and this is from Jackson Richman. My message for Rice and those who make religious liberty comparisons to the Shoah is simple. Stop it. All right. Keep in mind, I am also Jewish. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Stop making comparisons to Auschwitz. Auschwitz was Auschwitz. There can be a genocide, but I pray there will never be another Auschwitz. And when you compare the Holocaust to other goings-on, you cheapen the Holocaust and the lives of those who were taken in it. And I'm sorry. That means you deny how severe it was. The Holocaust started with discriminatory laws, only to end up in genocide. It wasn't explicit hatred of religion, but an explicit hatred for a people. And then the hatred extended to people who helped the Nazis, those that the Nazis targeted. And in fact, Christians, no. Once Hitler took power, he even sought to reduce Christianity's influence on German society. So, I'm sorry. I will yell at you less if you compare a genocide to Auschwitz. But if you compare a baker not baking a cake to Auschwitz, I'm going to stomp all over you. Let's just get that straight. If we're going to say never again when it comes to the Holocaust, and I'm going back to quoting the article. If we are going to say never again, let's also say no more. No more false equivalencies, no more hate. Conversing, not ostracizing, is the solution to bridge divisions between people. Let's judge people personally, not by their background, but rather by their character. Thank you, Jackson Richman. I couldn't have written or spoken better words. Thank you. And this came out on Rosh Hashanah, or right before it. I don't recall the details. Now, we are coming up on the commercial break, so I really don't want to get into too much more. In fact, I'm tempted to take the commercial break a bit early. I really am. So, in fact, I think we will. Just as a reminder, you can always find me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. And you can track me down in the chat room on KLRNradio.com/chat. And that would be a / thank you friends, and that's the one on your question mark key. And I am going to take the commercial break, and we will see you on the other side.
Well, I won't back down, though I won't
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. Yes, with everything there is a cost. Now, getting back to this stack of show prep, which if you could see it, I may have to take a picture and tweet it out. The scary thing is, there's no other there's a couple of other documents in here, but there's no huge research project that I'm working on. This is all KJU, North Korea. All right, I have a 2-page personal document here. One piece of paper in here is personal. The rest of it is all show prep. No joke. Now, North Korea spoke at the UN General Assembly this past weekend. I've got a couple of snippets that I'm going to play for you. And I'm still kind of searching for the one I really wanted. No surprise for folks, North Korea doesn't like us. Or like what Trump said, they slam us at every turn. And also no surprise, Iran doesn't like us. I covered that on Wednesday with Justin. Really? Any of you were surprised Iran doesn't like us? I don't think you were. Now, these guys are just, well, to quote a friend of mine, they're usually full of nothing but hot air. And they'll do something that won't quite be an act of war. And they're very calculating.
47/62 at the 47th session of the UNGA. Since then, the UNSC reform issue has been discussed at the UNGA every year during the past 25 years, but without any progress at all. This fact itself clearly shows how deeply the current prominent members are obsessed in their anachronistic vested interests. One permanent member alone can veto the general will of over 190 UN member states. Such an undemocratic UN organ is the Security Council.
All right, so that was North Korea calling out the Security Council. Not a good move.
The Security Council fabricated illegal and double-standard resolutions which only prohibit the satellite launch of the DPRK in violation of the international law prescribing peaceful use of outer space as a sovereign right of every state and without taking any issue with all other satellite launching countries. Second,
okay, then he says that the Security Council acted illegally because, well, they only called out North Korea. I believe they also called out Iran.
The anti-DPRK resolutions are not based on any established principles, and that they are nothing less than the products of undemocratic old practices of the Security Council and the conspiracy and collusion of the forces obsessed only in their vested interests. The U.S. claims that the DPRK's possession of H-bomb and ICBM constitutes a global threat, even at the UN arena.
Okay. Now he's still calling out the Security Council. Keep in mind, this diatribe went on for several minutes.
If the resolutions on the DPRK...
Okay, we're still on resolutions. I did not manage to extract the audio clips I needed earlier. I was a little busy.
Through such a prolonged and arduous struggle, now we are finally only a few steps away from the final gate of completion of the state nuclear force. It is only a forlorn hope to consider any chance that the DPRK would be shaken an inch or change its stance due to the harsher sanctions by the hostile forces. The day will certainly come in the near future when we settle all damages inflicted to our peaceful economic development and improvement of the people's livelihood and all the sufferings imposed on our innocent women, children, and the elderly by the heinous and barbaric sanctions against our republic. The DPRK already organized a national...
Okay, so he's saying that they're going to settle their problems.
My delegation takes this opportunity to extend...
Hang on. Nope, not what I wanted.
...imposed upon the DPRK by...
He thanked a number of, despot dictators around the world and extended their congratulations to them.
The war deterrent for safeguarding peace and security of the Korean Peninsula and the region is strengthened enough. The United States and its followers must now think twice before launching military provocation against the DPRK.
I don't think so. I don't think we will think twice. I think that if North Korea does something as reckless as test a nuclear device over the Pacific Ocean, shoots down one of our planes, or does anything that can be construed as an act of war, it's game over, North Korea. And the North Korean ambassador to the UN said as much, that it was inevitable that North Korean missiles would strike the U.S. homeland. Now, if you missed last Wednesday's Jesse's POV, you've got to go back and grab it. And it's on your favorite podcast location. Grab your smartphone, go to podcast, type in Jesse's POV, and find last Wednesday's episode. Justin Kinney joined me live on air, and we were discussing all the diatribes and rhetoric that have been going on. And he had some amazing insights, some of which I had considered but not voiced, some of which, wow, where'd you come up with that one and how? And I asked him on air. And I think he was right. Now, Trump did order new sanctions against North Korea on Thursday. And of course, Pyongyang, KJU, good old quackers. No, we haven't played his sound effect today, aka Rocket Man. Defiantly vowed to persist with its nuclear and missile programs. Now, of course, tensions keep escalating and rising. And KJU, Kim Jong-un, Rocket Man, Quackers, whatever you want to call him, said he would consider the highest level of hardline countermeasure in history against the United States in response to Trump's threat to totally destroy his North Korea. Now, North Korea is, people are going, there were also travel restrictions put on North Koreans. And on Twitter, they were like, well, why bother? It's not like there's a line of North Koreans trying to head into this country. Well, wake up, folks. North Koreans can't just pick up and travel wherever they want. So it's no surprise. So, like I said, he put the restrictions in place mostly against the leadership. He really did. If a North Korean manages to make it to our country and requests asylum, they will be welcomed. Now, let's go back up to the UN General Assembly, and I will get these audio clips and let you hear them. Russia said that Russia is extremely concerned by Donald Trump's comments and questions concerning the Iran nuclear deal, North Korea, and has accused the United States of a missile treaty breach. Now, why? Why would they do that? Well, first of all, Russia is a signatory to the Iranian nuclear deal. And even the EU isn't thrilled with the fact that we're kind of going, this deal wasn't such a good idea. But I'm going to call on the proficiency and training of the North Korean military. Because last week, and this didn't make much headline news in the US, a Russian military helicopter gunship accidentally fired on spectators during war games in Russia. Now, of course, the Russian military acknowledged the helicopter accidentally fired a rocket during drills, but it insisted no one was hurt. Horsaki. I'm sorry, there had to be people wounded. The rocket exploded near a crowd of journalists, military experts, and foreign military attachés. Now, of course, they can't blame this on pilot error. They said it was caused by a short circuit in the helicopter's electrical system. Yeah, right. The rocket exploded a vehicle, sending shrapnel into the air near a crowd, and no one was hurt? Not worth it. Propaganda machine, anyone? North Korea isn't the only country with a propaganda machine. And am I saying we don't have one? No. I'm saying that North Korea's blows so much smoke, nobody knows what to believe. Russia seems to be following suit. Now, why do I constantly draw connections between North Korea and Iran? I've got a very specific reason. They are known trading partners. Now, I've got an article from KCNA. For those of you not familiar with KCNA, North Korean news, aka North Korean propaganda. Alright, and I'm just going to read part of it because it's about all I can stomach, and I don't expect you to put up with more than I do. Clear is the aim sought by the United States in clinging to the racket of sanctions against the DPRK. It is to stamp out the DPRK's sovereignty and rights to existence and development, and thus realize at any cost the ambition for bringing it down. There is no other option for the DPRK, as the U.S. is working with bloodshot eyes to undermine the ideology of the DPRK and bring down its social system by brandishing the sanctions stick. The Army and the people of the DPRK will, as in the past, hold tightly the treasured sword of the simultaneous development of the two fronts and dash toward the final victory and foil the U.S. and other hostile forces' anti-DPRK moves. The U.S. sanctions on the DPRK will prove futile, and it will be just like sweeping the sea with a broom. Now, I did straighten out some of the English, so if anybody goes there, the English is a little rougher than that. Now, all this while China continues its march in the South China Sea that now no one is paying attention to. What happened recently? Well, there's 2 Vietnamese fishermen dead following a clash with the Philippine Navy. The Philippine government said Monday that the Vietnamese fishing vessel initiated very dangerous maneuvers and slammed into a Navy boat during the chase. That prompted its sailors to fire warning shots. The deadly incident underscores the risks in a region where competition is heavy for fish, oil, gas, and other maritime resources. China and Vietnam are holding talks on maintaining border stability. The sides settled the border more than a decade ago and also successfully, there were previous talks, but they continue to successfully demarcated territorial waters in the Gulf of Tonkin. However, they continue to dispute ownership of a group of the Paracel Islands and other holdings in the South China Sea. So basically, while everybody in the Asia-Pacific region is focusing on Rocket Man, guess what? China is still marching forward. It has not backed down. It is moving forward. And now they're threatening to test a hydrogen bomb in or over the Pacific Ocean. Now, there was a little test over the weekend. It happened Saturday night late in the U.S., but it only triggered a 3.4 earthquake. So either they rushed into something or fouled something up. There is no other way to explain a 3.4 after a 6.3. Or there is one other possible explanation. There is one other possible explanation. And that would be that they were trying to test something without everybody knowing that they were testing something. And this means that basically, if we go to war against North Korea, I expect Iran to start a war in the Middle East, putting us immediately into a two-front war. And I believe that is the classic definition of world war. So, now of course Iran says that they're not working with North Korea on missile development. And they say that that's nonsense. I'm going to say that that claim is nonsense. Now there's all kinds of people saying we should or should not get back out of the Iran nuclear deal. I haven't decided. I don't think the deal is worth what it's written on paper. Now, did we declare war on North Korea? A tweet is not a declaration of war. A declaration of war takes an act of Congress. We have also not broken the ceasefire. Yes, I repeat, ceasefire that currently exists between North and South Korea. Oh, and Iran tried to claim they test-fired a missile over the weekend. Wah, wah. Fake. Iranian state television released video footage Friday claiming to show the launch of a new type of medium-range missile. But it turns out Iran never fired a missile. The video released by the Iranians was more than 7 months old, dating back to a failed launch in late January, in which the missile exploded shortly after liftoff. So, Iran has stepped up their rhetoric and propaganda. Now, I'm going to tell you folks how to tell if we are contemplating declaring war, actively crossing the 38th parallel. And there are a couple things you need to watch out for. One, it would be non-essential personnel being evacuated from the peninsula. 2, that includes diplomats and family members of the United States Armed Forces. 2 would be, yeah, there's a 2. A build-up on the peninsula would precede it. Well, we're slowly seeing that. Now, Kim Jong-un is always calling our annual exercises with South Korea, which there are several variations on these exercises throughout the year. Practice for an invasion. Don't try us, Rocket Man. We just might do it. All right, folks. You regulars know what's coming. You new listeners, buckle up for the ride because I'm out of here!